Welcome to If These Pages Could Talk. I'm Kiersten Marcil, author and adventurer into history. We are talking today about second chance romances, what polished to near perfection ladies have to offer, and maybe include a little advice to the younger crowd. I am here with my co-host,
Savannah Storm, romance writer.
And today we have a very special guest for us. Please, Cindy, introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Cindy Kehargiaras, and I am a very, very new writer. I live in Hermosa Beach, California, and I'm very happy to be here today. Thank you.
We're so excited to have you. Thanks for being here. So we're going to kick it off with one of our old favorite icebreakers, which is a little home office show and tell, because Cindy has, if she's going to show what I think she is, has one of the coolest items in her home office. So
well,
why don't you take it away?
First, you have to see my I have my fake crystal chandelier here. So I'm in a she shed out in my backyard. And I was banished there by my husband, who couldn't handle my clacking on the keyboards since we were both working during the lockdown. So, but I embraced it and hung shelves in my chandelier, and then when my second book came out, well, when we first chose the cover for my second book, my daughter goes to an art collective, and they have teenagers high schoolers that come in and are mentors, and the collective teaches the artists how to do commissions. So I asked them if there was an artist that maybe could do a commission for me, and I had to have a surfboard because it's a surfer story. So one of my neighbors gave me one of their old surfboards, and we stripped it and sanded it, and I gave it to her, and she put my cover on the surfboard. Can you see it?
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
And so yeah, that's my signature piece there that hopefully one day I'll be able to tote around the country and bring to my signings.
And what are you going to have for the Dasher? Book 2, everybody.
Yes. So I've been thinking about that, and it's based on a surf clothing company, and the advertisement was bringing back their superstar surfer from the 90s to be an older, more mature customer. So Endless Summer by Jason Mattis is their line, and they have a whole advertising campaign. And in the book, she suggests, and this is just an idea, I haven't done it yet. This is in the book, she suggests the Greek villains like Medusa and the Kraken on surfboards. And so I was thinking about doing a whole advertising campaign with those images. I don't know where I'm going to get them from, but maybe the Artist Collective could help me out or something.
Well, I'm often browsing websites for cover ideas. So if I see any images that are free or not free, well, I'll let you know and we can discuss which ones.
Yeah. I mean, the Kraken on a surfboard would be kind of epic.
No, a t-shirt.
Definitely.
But it says Tenet Surf Company on it with the Kraken. I think you can wear that at signings.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, I mean, that's my background in marketing. So
it's awesome. It all feeds together. That's great.
It just does.
Awesome. And we can also see your cover behind you too, up on your shelf. That's wonderful.
That was the Orange County romance writers did that for me when I entered their cover contest, and it's like really big.
That's so cool.
Oh,
that's
like
really
that idea.
sweet. How are you? I'm curious. How are you going to get the surfboard to stand up? Have you figured that out yet when you go to like shows?
We could prop it up against a chair, or if there's a wall behind me, I'll just put it on the wall.
Nice.
Or a naked young man in surf trunks.
Well, there you go.
No, I mean not semi-naked. 40-year-old.
Yes. Well, my husband is a little very hot these days. He decided to join a gym in his midlife crisis, where he is older by 20 years by most of the people there. But he's working out really a lot, and he's really he looks great.
Nominated.
I might have him do it.
Third board.
Gotta have a research assistant when you're a romance writer. Come on.
Oh,
Yes. That's awesome. So we'll finish up our show and tell. What did you bring today?
I actually don't know. I have two things. I keep on my desk a pair of boxing mitts, so that when I'm feeling a bit stressed or hit a roadblock or can't decide, I put these on and I go out back and I kick and box our boxing bag that we have outside. And then the other thing I could show and tell is I got this massive, I don't know if I've done it already, pencil bag. It's
I like it.
part of the NaNoWriMo gifts that we do. If you reach a milestone, you get gifts. And I asked her for these. Oh man, yeah. I asked her for one of these. I just needed one. Just one. I can't tell you. I got pens. I got funky clips. This is all in one
Aw.
NaNoWriMo, so you can tell. And I got clips. All
Wow.
of these little clippies.
They're pretty ones.
Being new to all of this, I wrote the dasher in NaNoWriMo.
Yeah.
I didn't get it. How did you get a gift?
Oh, no. It's you make friends with 2 or 3 NaNoWriMo writers, and then
Yeah.
you do like a secret Santa. So I get for you, you get for them, they get for them. And then
Okay.
you build a box.
Prizes. I'm like, what?
No. NaNoWriMo doesn't give you prizes. No.
No. I finished, but no prizes.
That's great. Good for you for finishing. That's I haven't tried yet, but I hear that's really hard to do. Good for you.
Are you going to do cat nano?
I liked it. It's, it's a discipline. It's, when you come from the corporate world and you have to be at your desk at 9 o'clock and you can't leave until 5 and you have to budget your time, and make sure that, from this hour to this hour, you're doing this, and this hour to this hour, you're doing this. And it kind of just made sense to me to have a certain amount of words that you needed to write a day, because that gives you like the parameter of when you can do it and when you should be doing it. So,
Right.
and what out of your life to concentrate like that, I think is, anyway, it was, for me, it was good.
Are you doing Camp Nano?
No, I we're gonna be, I think we're gonna be traveling during that. So no, not this year.
So not April and not July.
No.
Okay.
No, but maybe next year.
Yeah.
That's the good thing about it. It comes around every year.
Yep.
So plus
Cindy,
I think I'm gonna be deep in edit by then, Savannah.
Did you find that after, NaNoWriMo had officially ended, did you keep some of that pace going? Did that help you in terms of discipline too?
Yes, because by then I was totally obsessed with the manuscript. And it was, it was something that I wanted to get really perfected, very character based. So, my playlist was essential, and I would sit in my office and reread it and play my playlist. And yeah, I got a little obsessed with it, actually. I didn't spend all of the disciplined time writing. Some of it was, just sort of listening to the music, finding the right songs that became like theme songs for my characters, and then maybe nuancing them a little bit, when it came to what their theme songs were. And it was fun. It wasn't like sitting down and writing, 1,200 words a day. It was more like, maybe 300 or 400 words a day, just to like, add to it. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I was obsessed for a good 2 months after after that.
That's great. And anything I think is progress, like what you described, that's total progress that you need to do. That's great. What were some of the songs that ended up on your soundtrack?
So Ben's theme song is Battle Flag by the All Stars. They're a British band. This was from, I think it was from like 99 or 98 or 99, and it's just this really just intense rap rock song that is all about laundering your karma. And so is, yeah. And then Lisa's theme song is Break Things by Limp Bizkit.
Yeah, she likes Limp Bizkit. Loud.
Yeah. Yeah. But then it was also, you know, the Dido song, now I can't think of the name of it, where she says, "I'll go down with this ship."
White Flag.
White Flag, yes.
Yeah.
That's her song. And I listen to that one over and over and over again because it's exactly who she is.
Nice.
I never know what my songs are going to be. I started writing book 8 of my series, and the next thing I know, I'm listening to Bruce Springsteen on repeat, and specifically only 2 songs. And my husband puts his head over the keyboard and he goes, "Really?"
Again?
I'm like, yeah, shut up. It's just this. Another book will be something weird like the Witcher soundtrack or Vangelis, or it depends on the book.
It could be anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what's so great about music is it could be like the cheesiest song, but it just works for some reason.
Mm-hmm. Cindy, do you write while the music's playing?
Sometimes. But yeah, when I'm doing like a NaNoWriMo, I couldn't do that because I needed to like be clear-headed. But when I'm nuancing the character, I'll put those songs on repeat.
Yeah. Very cool. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I can only do soundtracks when I'm actually writing. I think the words throw me, but the soundtracks help focus. So
Yeah.
very cool.
Are you going to do
All right,
Nano
so
this year?
who?
Sure.
Kiersten, are you going to do Nano?
I don't know that it'll fit. I don't know. We'll see. Because I'm wrapping revisions now on my second book, and then I have a completely out of the series book that I had started that I need to finish, but I think that's going to be done by the summer. So I don't know that I'll be in a position to do NaNoWriMo, but maybe I'll do book 3 then. We'll see.
Start in November. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. The idea just stresses me out though. Like I do like you, Cindy. No, it really does. I have office hours. So for me to just sit and know that I'm working, if it's researching or like you said, just getting in the mood and listening to the voices in my head and trying to figure out what they're saying, that works for me. But to have to put out so many words, I have the stress in the day job. I don't need it in my writing time. So, but I don't know. Maybe I know Sev's like, you need to give it a try. I can tell. We'll
It's
see.
the first time I did it, I decided I'm going to start with 20,000 words in the bag.
Uh-huh.
So that when I hit the end of November, I've written a book. You know, it's no use. I burn out during November and then I never finish the book. And so my first time I finished the 29th of November with 90,000 words. Wow. So for me, it was easy. If you have a sprint buddy or just a sprinting program, there's one on Discord, a sprint bot. You put that thing on and you like typing, you write. I mean, I go back and I edit while I type, and I do about 300 or 400 words every 15 minutes. And then when you look again, you do another sprint, and an hour and a half later, you've done what, 3 times 6? You know, you've surpassed your daily allowance and you don't even notice because you are. And the thing is, it forces you to write. So when you go through the saggy middle of a novel, it's a no-brainer. I'm done. I'm finished. No problem. So I love it. I'm doing Camp Nano, which starts 1st of April. And you
Oh,
can do
good.
anything. You can edit in Camp Nano. You can say that I'm doing an editing project for 50,000 words, and you target that. You know, you could be writing 4 books at the same time, because people have spares in case they hit a roadblock, you know, writer's block. So you can just switch.
We're both on book 2. She's on book 21. So we'll
yeah,
get
yeah, yeah. So
Sorry.
it is good to have someone who is
Insane.
experienced, excited. It's still good. Actually, the fact that you are still excited after all those books is really encouraging.
It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can use Camp Nano for anything. You can use NaNoWriMo for anything. You don't have to write. You could do research as part of your NaNoWriMo, as long as you've got the word count down.
All right, I'll think about it, Sav. Maybe you said July. There's one.
Yeah, those are camps. So camps, you can do anything.
See, let's
anything.
ease me into the waters here.
Okay.
Cindy, that kind of leads me to the question. We'll come back to your book at some point, I promise. But did you know you wanted to be a writer?
No.
So how did that come about for you?
So I've always had, so I was thinking about this because I read that question. I was like, you know, and this kind of goes back to the music, but being raised in the MTV generation, music and videos that you get to see how the artist tells their stories visually when you've already heard the song a million times, and then you get to see the video. I think what happens to me is that I get little snippets of visions or little snippets of dialogue in my head. And then, I'll put on some music and I'll try to expand them. And so during the lockdown, I think my brain just wanted to go to a place, because it was so scary out in the world, that my brain wanted to go to a place that felt comfortable, safe. And so music really helped me. I was listening to a lot of 80s and 90s, and it was bringing up all these memories, and it was bringing up all of these things that I'm like, oh, you know what? Back in 92, and I was listening to Where the Streets Have No Name, and I remember getting this visual of, of a guy in the desert with the head wrap and a gun and a procession of Humvees that he is going to blow up. I don't know why, but in 1992, that was the vision I had listening to Where the Streets Have No Name. And that was where Two Princes started. Oh. And then I would listen to the song Two Princes, and so Two Princes was almost autobiography driven when I first wrote it. And so it was like, I wrote about this ex-boyfriend, and it had all of these, stories about meeting him. It all ended up on the cutting room floor when it came to the book, but it was, it was in my head. So the playlist was made, and then, I just started writing, and I had no idea what I was doing, but I had just turned 50. I was having an existential crisis. The world was on the plague. And I think my brain wanted to find something that I can control. And this was something I could control.
That's cool.
So
did what ended up on the cutting room floor move into the Perpetual?
So when I first got my publishing deal for Two Princes, actually, no, it was when I was still finishing up writing it. I thought, oh my God, what if this becomes a bestseller and this guy that I'm writing about shows up and knows it's about him? And that was where the Perpetual came. Like, what would you do if you knew it was about, because I had all of this real stories, and so I'm kind of glad that they ended up on the cutting room floor now, to be honest with you.
You were just practicing.
Right. And I did make him the bad guy. So
Hmm.
You know, that was
No
the
way
very
Jason's a bad guy.
made me a terrorist. And that was, you know, that was where that came from.
Okay, that's cool. So why don't you then tell us about the Perpetual?
So yeah, so I am huge fan of Romancing the Stone. And like it's just my diehard go-to if I want to be in a good mood. And then also I never read romance. My whole life I didn't read romance. I read Tom Clancy and I read Jason Bourne and I read the spy stuff and the you know political thrillers. And if somebody wasn't murdered on the 25% in, I was like, DNF. I mean, I didn't read romance not until the lockdown. And that's when I started reading romance. I'm like, oh, there's some of those elements in there, because I was thinking, even in the Jason Bourne, I'm like, they need to get together. Where's the sex? Where's the I wanted something combined, and Romancing that kind of great 80s action movie, romance adventure movie. There's Romancing the Stone. There's American Dreamer. Did you ever see American Dreamer?
No.
Jo Beth Williams is a housewife, and she writes a fanfic for a contest about a woman who solves crimes that lives in France. And she wins a trip to France and gets in a car, gets amnesia, and thinks she's the character.
Oh, that's great.
It is American Dreamer. You have to find it. It's fabulous.
Okay.
And then The Saint with Val Kilmer.
Love that movie. Own that movie.
Love that movie, right? So I was like, well, I don't know the rules. I don't know what is out there yet, because I'm just starting with romance. But you know what? Darn it, this is what I like.
Yeah.
And so I've got in the Perpetual, he owes the Central American gangster $8 million. And, she used to be in antiquities imports and knows about this elusive cross that the gangster would love, called the Cross of Castillo, that's supposed to have the biggest piece of the cross of Christ within it.
Yeah.
And they steal it and to pay off the gangster. But at the same time, there's like the gangster's menopausal wife, and there's the Jason's best friends are this couple who he's about to become the president of El Salvador, and then they get kidnapped. And I mean, it's just it's one thing after the other when it comes to this book, and it's just it's fun. It's not supposed to be like some great literary triumph or anything. Who am I to do that? I'm not, so yeah, so it's fun. And it's also about women, and how we in middle age, it's a known fact that we get swept under the rug, dismissed, not taken seriously anymore, when we have all of these psychotic things happening in our brain with the hormones, and our bodies are changing, and we've sacrificed everything to raise our kids and do everything for our family, and figure out what the hell to make for dinner every night. And I mean, it's like, we've given so much, and now our kids are older, and hopefully they're good humans who can make their own dinner. And it's, what do you do now? Like, okay, so, and society is just like, well, you just sit around in a rocking chair and knit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Just
So-
FYI, everyone, no one dies in the first 25% of the
No,
Perpetual.
nobody dies in the Perpetual at all. I substituted it for sex.
Okay.
So now we have that.
Good trade.
That's
Good
fair.
trade.
That's
But I wanted to kind of make a statement about midlife women as well, and how there's so much more. And just because that was my 5th of my 9 lives, I became an author. Who knew?
Mhm.
You know,
Right.
so still so much. And so yeah, so the perpetual has many levels. It is a layered piece, like an onion.
Or a cake.
Okay. Nice and decadent and delicious.
Mm. Awesome.
Are you going to
Add
show
some
and tell,
chocolate syrup and you're all good.
Kirsten? Are you going to show
Oh,
and
maybe I'll
tell?
see. Oh, all right, fine. We were talking, we had such a good conversation. I didn't want to throw it in. So yes, I did. She knows what I'm bringing, Cindy. So I have a bell. This is from Mount Vernon. And
Ooh.
when a historic tree falls at Mount Vernon, it's George Washington's house for people who are not history goofs like me. And they bring in local artisans to carve the tree and they sell it to help, preserve the house. So this one was a white oak tree circa 1783. So this would have been there when George Washington lived on the grounds. So I had to sweep one of these up when I saw it for sale. So
Yeah.
exciting trinkets that helps inspire me, right?
Dusting your study must be a nightmare. I'm just saying.
It really is. Well, you see that shelf behind me. That's it takes a little bit. Yeah. I actually just did a film for just film the shelf really fast for YouTube, and I'm like, oh crap, I have to dust before I show anybody my shelf. It takes a bit. It
I
does
have
take a
myself. No close.
Oh, no. Close.
You've got some good shelves behind you too, Cindy. Like that looks like that might take a little work too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely.
I'm checking out the silver. What's the silver bottle on the pages number?
Yeah.
Oh.
This is a cocktail shaker. So in Two Princes, she drinks dirty martinis with 3 olives. And so I kind of got a cocktail shaker and stuck one of my promotional stickers on it.
That's
Perfect.
so cool. Yeah.
Absolutely perfect.
Teeny glass here. It has like glass and my olives, and
Wow.
so that's like the aesthetic for Two Princes. She drinks dirty martinis. That's like her thing.
I run
Cindy-
sci-fi, so there's no way I could have like a great sword or anything
one-
weird.
But it's this is my hot flashes pan.
Uh-huh.
Keeping it
Oh my
spicy.
God.
So when I get a hot flash, I find myself.
That cracked me up when I saw that on your website. I was in stitches. I was rolling. All right, so now we have to ask you about that. What is the Gen X Spicy Romance Book Club that is on your website?
So the author Michelle Dawn, who writes adventure romance, she is very popular on TikTok, and I've been doing my research on the platforms and how to present yourself on the different platforms. And she just had this great rant where she was like, we're going to make this a thing, and it's going to be a hashtag, and we're going to hashtag the heck out of it. And all the authors that write over 40 romance or Gen X romance are going to get on this, and we're going to be, like a force, and it's going to be our fetch. And I'm like, we're going to make fetch a thing. We're going to make Gen X romance a thing. And I was like, I'm on board, baby. I'm all in. So she started a Facebook page, and it's for recommendations, and it's for us that like things on the spicy side. So, it's over 40 romance, spicy, book recs. And so yeah, so that's what we want to do, is we want to make sure that if that's what you're into, then we're going to give you some recommendations. And then we also have some, Gen X humor and some memes and, remember this, and, that there's not a Gen X women podcast.
There isn't.
No. I looked and there isn't. And I did a lot of research. There's a company called Podcast Pair, And I said, find me a Gen X romance or Gen X women's podcast. And there isn't one.
I'm hearing your next project in that.
Oh man, we'll see how it gets in my head. We'll see.
No pressure.
No pressure. You
You'll have
two
to
are
dust.
I go off tangents, so I don't know how viable that is for me, but anyway. So yeah, so this is, on Book Talk they have their crowns. Well, this is fans.
Nice.
Only fans.
Oh, it's for my hot flashes, let's put it that way.
Love it. That is terrible. For the Perpetual, on a spicy scale of like Hallmark sweet to ghost pepper, wow, how spicy is the Perpetual?
I said 3, but some people have said 4, so
Okay.
it depends. There's a scene with a strawberry. There's
She's like, strawberry.
and then there's a very similar scene with on Thanksgiving with the cranberry sauce and whipped cream.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Nice.
and then of course there's the modern day bodice rip of the Mile High Orgasm, where he cuts her out of her Spanx with a Swiss Army knife.
Ooh, nice.
Hey, hold on.
Yeah. Oh, haven't even read it yet.
No, I don't know. I mean, I said a 3, but some of the things that I read are a little over the top. So, as a reader, I like it really spicy.
Okay.
But yeah, I wouldn't let my mom read it.
All colleagues.
Well, it depends on the colleague.
Do your colleagues know that you've written these books?
You mean my employees at the store?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. My mom actually has one of the books up on the counter at the store with my QR code to buy it.
Oh, cool.
You should have your own rack.
Huh?
You should have your own like shelf.
No, not my own shelf yet. Well, maybe. I don't know. I haven't been to the store in a couple of weeks, but she might have created a shelf. She's very excited. And even though I won't let her read it.
Well, how would you
You
know
know,
if she actually bought a book and read it on the sly? How would you know?
How would I know? I'm sorry, what?
How would you know if your mom bought a book and read it on the sly?
She tried. She's like, I got you about, and she's like, and then I couldn't. But her eyes are going. She's 78, and so she prefers audiobooks. And so, and I'm trying to teach her how to use the Kindle and make the letters bigger and everything, but it's a little too difficult for her right now to read like, paperbacks. So she hasn't quite mastered the Kindle yet. So I'm trying to get her there. So yeah. So, but no, I think she read the first couple of chapters and she was like, yeah, I can't. Like, okay, it's fine. And then I have an identical twin sister who also cannot read it because she does not like open door romance. She doesn't like romance, period. She likes fantasy. She likes like Brandon Sanderson, and those kind of books. So I tried to get her to read it. But she's like, nah, not my thing, which, it's fine. Not every book is for everybody, I'm okay with it, just as long as else in the world reads it.
Buy the book. There's an idea. Buy the books. Links below.
You buy them. My stepmother, who would never read it either, has bought like 4. So, and she doesn't give them to her friends. She gives them to her friends' kids.
Oh
But
my
yeah,
gosh.
she has the books proudly on her coffee table that she never opens them. Whatever, that's fine.
That's nice because she's supporting you. That's awesome.
Exactly.
Oh.
Had my dad still been alive, I think he would have read it, but he passed away before it was published. So, but I do believe that he would have read it.
Was he alive when you got the contract?
No.
So sad.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. He was an avid reader. He loved Ken Follett and who else? Ludlum. You know, I mean, he was the one that got me into those spy and political intrigue books. And then for the historical with Ken Follett, I mean, he was just that was his just favorite, and I read all of the books that he read. So, no, he would have read it. He would have read it. So, but it is such is life.
Yeah. You have one of the quotes associated with your book is fall in love again, especially with yourself. I love that. What role would you say falling in love with oneself has in a romance story or even in real life?
I think it's really hard to find a forever partner if you don't know who you are and learn to love who you are.
Yeah.
And then you can find a partner who actually loves you for you and not something that you project or that you are living up to with somebody else's expectations. And because when you're, with a forever partner, you need to give them you, not something that they expect or what your parents expected or what your friends expected. It was, you have, and one of the things that I really, really want to convey in my stories is that your forever partner has to be your best friend. They have to be, because once the kids and the house and everything is said and done and, everybody's gone and it's just the two of you.
Right.
Something with each other, whether playing Dungeons and Dragons or, we like to go to concerts and food shows, so you have to be friends too. And I think that put the best friends and the romance together, that's when real magic happens. But you have to know who you are to be able to show them, and you have to be able to like yourself to be able to show them that they should like you too. And the most of the time, if it's really true, they'll see through whatever it is that you might be projecting out there and actually help you find yourself. Which, when couples are a lot younger, that's what really needs to happen, is they need to find themselves. But later on, Andy and I didn't get married until we were 35 and 36. So we kind of both knew who we were when we got married. We were a little bit older. So it was, it was kind of like, we didn't have to grow together and figure things out. And everybody still changes and evolves, but the core of it is that we were very secure with ourselves before we got together. The message for the Perpetual was more of falling in love again, especially with yourself. And that goes back again to the middle life women who, sacrifice their looks and their body and their careers in a lot of instances to raise a family. And then when, the kids are older and, you're left with about, 40 pounds heavier, hair thinning, it's no career, to stand on. And it's like, okay, I'm a different person now. The person I was in love with 25 years ago isn't the same person I am now. So how do I
Right.
fall in love with myself again?
Yeah.
And that's something that I think is so hard for us to figure out, is how do we fall in love with ourselves again? My body's different. My brain is different. I get tired a lot. I'm not the dirty martini drinking, you know, diva with a cigarette in my hand and a group of guys surrounding me. That's not who
Yeah.
I am. So who am I, and when am I going to fall in love with myself again?
Again. That's awesome. You're such a breath of fresh air right now for me. So
I wish I was drinking wine.
yeah.
Only 9 o'clock in the morning, but you know, I can make a dirty martini.
The plane is flying over somewhere.
That's true. It's 5 o'clock somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Yes, by me.
Oh yeah, it should be 5 o'clock where you are.
Yeah, 5:45.
Nice.
So we're just joining you, Sev.
Yeah, just come on over. And it's still summer here, although we've just had rain, so it's lovely.
It was sleeting against my window. I kept looking away, but it was distracting me. Like, why is it sleeting?
Yeah. We finally got some. I'm sure you guys have heard about it. With that, we're about to build a park here. But it's sunny today.
We're running out of time. We're like almost there. So Cindy, what is something, because we're having such a great time here because we're all roughly the same age. What is something in your book that maybe the younger generations can relate to and enjoy?
One of the things that I noticed was that the millennials especially, and Gen Z too, because my kids, they love those 80s adventure movies. And they love Romancing the Stone and The Saint, and you know, and especially, which is so bizarre to me, but I'm trying to understand, these romance readers love their silver foxes. They really are into our Gen X men. They love age gap stories where it's like, you know, your ex-boyfriend's dad, and I mean, it's like big, and they're loving Brad Pitt, and they're loving, you know, Rob Lowe, and they're
Richard Gere.
So yeah, I got a silver fox in this book, and a surfer,
right?
So he's pretty hot. He's pretty hot. So yeah, that's something that the younger romance readers would definitely be into.
Very cool. Let's wrap with this. We talked about the Perpetual. Do you know when it's coming out? Do you have a target for that?
The Perpetual's out. It came out in September.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant the Dasher. I'm sorry.
I haven't gotten a date yet. We are in our second round of edits, I believe. So I think Cassie said something about, you know, late in the year, like December maybe.
Which is a good.
That'll be. Oh yeah.
Christmas, yes.
Yeah. And that'll be nice because that'll be, like you said, the Perpetual came out in September. That'll be like a year later. That's nice. Awesome.
Yeah.
Do you have thoughts on where you want to go with your writing career now that you have one started?
I'd like to sell some books. Yeah, you know, I was in advertising sales, and basically in sales for a very long time. And I'm like, okay, well, now I have a product. I have a product that I can sell. So let's sell it. So I don't know if you guys have read that Barnes and Noble have given their purchasing powers back to the store managers so that they can buy their books on the local level. So I called up my local Barnes and Noble, and I introduced myself to the manager, and I said, tell me what this process is, you know, and he said that there's a consignment program. And so they review, you give them a copy, they review it, and then they'll put 3 on consignment for you.
Yeah.
So I have 2 local ones, and then the Perpetual takes place in Huntington Beach, and there's a Huntington Beach Barnes and Noble. So I'm going to go down there as soon as I get, my book, like the big box of books. Also looking into my demographics, I have these boutiques here in my little beach town, and a lot of them are owned by moms of my kids' friends. So I have 2 of the boutiques that are also going to be consigning my book that are my demographic. So, so I mean, it's just a matter of, it's a hustle. It's definitely a hustle. You can't just do a Facebook boost or an Amazon ad. You really have to hustle out there and get the book into hands, and the libraries too. So, your local library, where they have, local author events. And I don't know, I mean, I'm just kind of, testing the waters, seeing what works, and how to get it into the right hands and as many hands as possible.
Awesome. Well, good luck with that, because we're going to have you back, hopefully when your book comes out, and the sequel, and you can share with us a little more about how that's going.
Thank you.
Actually, since, I promised that we were going to talk about this. I know I keep pushing the end, Sev, I'm sorry. What is one thing that you think us ladies who are aged to perfection definitely have to offer that the younger ladies don't yet?
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's such an individual thing.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I think that for me personally, in the Dasher, the character Shelley from the Perpetual sits Lisa, the main character, down and gives her a speech about how she is at the point of her life where she is free from the box that she was put in for most of her life.
Mm-hmm.
That the expectations from parents, teachers, boyfriends, husbands, friends are over. There's no more expectations in this world for us. So fuck it. Just go do what you want to do. And don't about what everybody else thinks. It's the fuck it time. And I'm sorry for the language, but that's, I don't know how else to convey that in the most, explanation point kind of way. You grab onto it and you go Mach 5 with your hair on fire, and, you power through. And, all of us have, either have gone through health issues, emotional issues, mental issues, and just fuck it and let it go and just move on and do it big and fiery and with cuss words and gangster rap and just
get out there and live your life.
Get out
for
there.
You.
We don't have any expectations on us. Nobody's watching.
So do it.
Nobody's watching, girl.
Excellent. Oh, thank you. That's great. I'm so glad you shared that. Okay, so you told us where we can look for you when we're in your neck of the woods. Where can people find you in the meantime online?
I have every single social media platform you could possibly think of. And I have a link tree. So if you're on my Facebook page, the link tree is there. If you're on Instagram, it's there. I'm on TikTok. I'm Goodreads, BookBub, whatever you can find anything reader, related. I'm there.
Awesome. Good for you. All right, everybody, as we wrap up, please like this video. Don't forget to follow us and to subscribe. If you have any questions for Cindy that we didn't ask, put them in the comments below. We will get them to her and she will share with you her answers. We'll definitely have her back later in the year.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we're so glad you're here. You're
Yeah,
welcome. Thanks for being here. Everyone have a great day.
Bye, everyone.